famous con artist and fugitive from U.S. justice, Fat Leonard, has finally been sentenced. Leonard Glenn Francis on Monday thought he was on the verge of gaining permanent freedom after trying to evade U.S. authorities for 15 months. According to Francis' lawyer and others who have been in contact with him, he texted his mother from a prison in Caracas, saying Venezuelan authorities had promised release him from custody to receive medical treatment, and that he expected gain full freedom by the end of the year. In fact, it was all a ploy by Venezuelan security officials to prevent Francis from legally challenging his return to U.S. custody as part of a larger prisoner swap that the two countries have been secretly negotiating over the past few months. Instead of walking freely on Wednesday, Francis, 59, was put on a small jet by Venezuelan authorities and flown from Caracas to St. Petersburg, a country in the west. He flew to the small Caribbean island of Canouan, part of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Indies. There, along with 10 Americans detained Venezuela. A Venezuelan diplomat facing money laundering charges. Florida has been handed over to U.S. authorities exchange. According to news outlets St. Vincent, U.S. authorities transferred Francis to Miami on Thursday, where he remains locked up in a federal prison, according to a Bureau of Prisons spokesman. In coming days, the Malaysian defense contractor is expected to be transferred to San Diego so he can finally be sentenced. 9 years after he pleaded guilty federal bribery and charges for masterminding most sweeping corruption case in U.S. military history. His recapture marks the end of a 15-month odyssey which he led. Federal authorities believe he was terminally ill, escaped from federal house arrest in San Diego and fled to Mexico, Cuba and finally Venezuela, hoping find refuge the country. This does not extradite him to the United States. Francis had told family members and other confidants in recent days that he was optimistic he would soon be released from detention in Venezuela and granted his freedom after a long-running attempt to gain asylum there. I hope for positive outcome before end of the year, he wrote in text Monday to Sarah Macdonald, British journalist and filmmaker who is producing documentary about how Francis bribed several U.S. Navy officers while deing Pentagon of nearly $50 million. When Macdonald asked if meant he was about to be kicked out of prison, replied, "Let's see in 12 days."